wouldn't know you till you dead or you gone. So if I die today, I hope I live through my song. And I've lost a lot of homies, but this life goes on. An opportunity to know me when these lights go.
Hey, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy Nino_2113, and I'm back with episode number 2 of Storytime. This episode is gonna be a little, well, maybe not so much dramatic, because it's gonna be the worst breakup I've had. The only thing though is that it didn't really involve cheating, but on a different level. But basically, it was my longest relationship that I'm gonna talk about and why we broke up, why it didn't work out. And yeah, but it wasn't, it's more of an emotional breakup rather than breaking up because of someone cheating on someone. Because when someone cheats on someone, I think it's rather, it hurts just as, well, actually it hurts worse, but in my mind, it's easier to get over. Because if someone ever cheats on someone, then really, they never loved you, they never cared. But anyways, so the girl's name that I used to, well, this is my longest relationship, so the girl's name was Ashley, and I met her in 2010. We broke up in 2014. End of 2010 into 2011. So basically, this was when I was still in high school, going into my senior year, and this is gonna be kind of a long story. Basically, I met her in 2010 during the winter, and right at first, I didn't know well, at least that she had a crush on me. I mean, I kind of knew, but I didn't, like, when you don't really think about things like that at the time. Like, yeah, I had a crush on her, but in high school, or not even in high school, in general, I'm always a pretty shy guy. When it comes to girls, I never talk or anything like that. Like, I've always been shy, and I'm still am to this day. So basically, I didn't say anything. So I let weeks pass by, basically, and we got into the new year, 2011, and this is funny. So the day before, like, this big test, like in New York, when you're in high school in New York, you got to take these tests called Regents, and you need to pass them to graduate, by the way. So the day before, I cut class and I ended up hanging out with her and a few of the friends, and she had asked me, yo, do you want to hang out with me tomorrow? At first I thought it was just me and her, but it was a group of people. But I remember, I was like, I got a Regents to take. So I was like, nah, I can't go. And of course she was sad. But one of my friends was like, bro, she really wants you to go, bro. So that right there let me know, like, alright, she really does like me. Like, I gotta go. So, of course, I blow off the Regents. By the way, I ended up retaking that Regents. I ended up passing. I ended up graduating, so don't worry. Next day, we hung out, and it was snowing that day, by the way. We were supposed to go to someone's house, we never went to that person's house. We ended up hanging out outside all day in the freezing ass cold in the snow. And basically, I ended up taking her home. We ended up fussing around in a park, by the way, on the snow, but I didn't make my move then. I ended up taking her home. We ended up fussing around in her hallway, and then I made my move. I actually made out with her. And I asked her, do you want to be my girlfriend? And right off the bat, she said, okay. Now, that okay could have been anything, but whatever. Basically, since then, after that, that relationship started, like, it was really a roller coaster. It was, for the first, like, 5 months, it was just doop, 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 like the chain, like doop, doop, doop. It kept going. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm good. I don't got nothing to worry about. I got a girl that, loves and cares about me. At the time, I didn't know that, but, I'm just like, I'm good. I'm focusing on school. I'm focusing on my girl. Now, mind you, she had a problem with her family. Most girls, well, not even in general, most individuals that have problems with their families, it always cuts into your life, and you always feel like shit. She's had problems with her family for years, but I just started to learn that, and yada yada yada, whatever. Basically, from the summer of 2011 to the spring of 2014, it was hell and back for me. This is how crazy this relationship got. It got to the point where I didn't give a damn about school. All I cared about was her. I literally said, I'm not going to school anymore. I'm going to care about her. I used to get into arguments with my parents over her. My parents hated her. My family hated her. Her family, after a while, began to hate me. It got to the point where I got arrested once because of her, but that wasn't her fault. That was me. I mean, part of it was her fault, and she takes that part, but most of it was on me. But yeah, it was hell and back, bro. It was. I used to get into arguments with my mom. I literally got into a couple of fights with my dad over her because of what he was saying about her. It was bad. It really was. It got to the point where I literally walked out of my house. I was like, fuck this, I don't care. I walked out of my house. I ended up sleeping in a hallway in her building. I walked to her building. Didn't have no money. I've constantly used to leave out the house, take my stuff. I didn't care because all I cared about during those years was just her. I didn't care about nobody else. And it was just hell and back. It was literally the worst time of my life. Like, when I got arrested, I might as well tell you guys the story. So basically, this is during the time where I had left the first time, I believe, or maybe the second time. I'm not too sure. I left out of my house, I think, like 3 or 4 times. This might have been the second or third time. I think it was the second time. So basically, I had left. Ended up staying at my friend's house for like 2 weeks. And at one point, I asked my friend. I didn't have a phone. They took my phone. I asked my friend. I was like, "Yo, can I borrow your phone?" And I called my mom, and I just wanted to check up on her and see if she was okay and everything. And she told me, she was like, "When you're ready to come to the house and pick up your stuff, you can." And I didn't have any words. I broke down. I was like, what am I doing? Like, I would have never thought my mom would ever say that. Like, I always expected, like, yo, mijo, come home or something like that. Like, she didn't even say that. She just told me, yo, when you're ready to pick up your stuff, just pick it up. Like, with no remorse, no nothing. And I just broke down. So I gave the phone back to my friend, and basically I told him and my girl, I was like, listen, I'm just gonna take a walk. I'm fine. I'm upset and I'm angry, but I'm gonna take a walk. She thought I was leaving her. I don't know what was going in her head. I'm not gonna say she's bipolar. At times I thought she was, but most of my friends that know me personally, they're probably gonna defend her and say she was going through things, which that's fine and dandy. I'm not gonna argue with them because I've noticed over the years most of them have always taken her side anyway, so whatever. Basically, she followed me and I told her to leave me alone. I wanted to be alone. I'm the type of guy where if I'm angry and I'm upset and I just want to be left alone, just leave me alone. Don't worry, I'm fine. Just let me vent out all my anger, my frustration. I'd rather do that than take it out on you. Because if I take it out on you, then it's going to be worse for you and for me. So she wouldn't let me do that. She literally cornered me on a gate by like a middle school along with my friend. I don't like to be cornered. I'm not claustrophobic, but I don't like to be cornered. If I can't move or I can't do anything, then I feel like I'm trapped, I'm going to fight. I'm literally going to fight my way out. So I basically kind of shoved her, and then she kind of grabbed at my neck or some shit like that. I don't know. So I got so angry at that point, I blacked out. And I literally grabbed her by the hair, and I threw her into a pole. One of those cement poles that barricades like cars from going through. My friend saw that, and at that point I'm just screaming, and I'm literally just like, just kill me. Like, cause at that point I lost it. I felt like I had no one. I felt like there was no one there gonna be there for me. I felt like I had no parents. I had no family. I had nothing. I just felt like I'm alone in this world. There's nobody here for me. I told my friend, just kill me. And he grabbed me by the neck, and he actually came pretty close. Then I don't know why, I blacked out on him, and I literally beat the hell out of him. So I basically put both of them in the hospital. I ended up going home that night, Don't know how I got home. And I ended up going back to school for the first time in months. I ended up coming home from school. I had a decent day. People were asking me, where have you been at? Where's so-and-so at? I didn't want to answer questions. Lo and behold, at 1:30 in the morning, there's a loud-ass bang on the door. And who is it? Cops. Detectives, to be more precise. Of course, they had a warrant for me, and I got arrested. They took me to the precinct. Then they took me to the bookings. Now, obviously, bookings and prison, or, well, yeah, bookings or jail, or whatever you want to call it, in prison are two different things. I thank God I never went to prison. I really do. Bookings to me is like a very, very small taste of that. Very, very small. Just sitting in cells with like 20, 25 different guys, bro, it's not fun. I literally felt like the lowest person in the world. Thankfully, like, how they went is you go through like 3 different floors of, you know, cells. When you get to the second floor, there's a phone there. So the first person I called was my mom, obviously. And, you know, I ended up spending 2.5 days. 2.5? Yeah, 2.5 days in there. And with those 2.5 days, I ended up thinking long and hard about, like, my life. I mean, after I got out, I ended up making the mistake of getting back together with her anyway, which leads to why it was just a bad, bitter relationship. But the biggest thing that changed me when I was in those bookings was I told myself, I'm never going to let myself get angry and black out like that again. I'm never going to let no female or no person ever get me to that level ever again. Because I know where that's going to take me, and I never want to go down that road again. And I haven't since. Which is why when I got back together with her, the relationship, it got semi-better, not really. Anyways, it came to a head in 2014. I wasn't doing nothing with my life. I didn't have a job. I was just staying home doing nothing. This is how lazy I was. This is probably the second lowest point of my life. I ain't doing nothing with my life. I wasn't looking for a job. At that time I had an Xbox. All I was doing was just playing video games all day. That's all I did. Which is why I understand why my dad complains about that more than anything now. That's all I was doing. I wasn't looking for a job. I wasn't doing anything. And, you know, she was still trying to get her high school diploma. I had already graduated. But, she would constantly want me to pick her up from school. And I was just lazy. I didn't feel like asking my dad for money to take the bus. I didn't want to do anything. So it came to a head. And this is where probably everybody's going to laugh. And I swear if you guys laugh, hey, oh well. Little did I know that when she was going to night school, by the way. Little did I know was there was somebody on the side, and I didn't even realize it. Now you would think, since I said side, she had a side nigga. No, she actually had a side chick. This girl, who, by the way, listen, if I could find a picture of this girl, I know I'm not the prettiest nigga in the world. I know I'm not. I'll never be the prettiest nigga in the world. I know I'm fat and everything. I don't really care. I could care less what people think of me. But I know I'm way better looking than that bitch. That was an ugly ass bitch. And my thing about it is, I don't got nothing against, you know, gays, lesbians, whatever. But why is it girls that are lesbian, why do they need to dress like boys? That's my thing. Which further makes me think, like, okay, women still want men, even if they're gay, but women dress like boys. Like, I never got that purpose, but, you know, I'm not knocking on nobody. Like I said, I don't got nothing against them, so if that's what you like, that's what you like. Hey, who am I? I'm not gonna judge. But my thing was, this girl was ugly. UGLY, you ain't got no alibi. You ugly like that. But apparently she had game. So it came to a head, and basically, she broke up with me. Mind you, she had went away with this girl, and that's when I said she kind of cheated. She let this girl go down on her. I guess that's about that. That's as much as I know. I'm pretty sure more happened, but again, I don't care. Now you're probably wondering, how is this the worst breakup for you? You gotta understand what I went through with this girl. I literally said, if I can get through anything with this girl, I went through everything you could, not everything you could think of, but majority. If I can get through all that, my family hating on her, my parents hating on her, her family hating on me, all these so-called friends that we had that are acquaintances saying that we should have been broken up, that we were gonna break up then, whatever. We were getting through all this, and I used to really believe, I was like, if I can get through all this with this girl, then she probably is the one and I'm meant to be with her. Obviously that's not the case. So how we broke up, it was the weirdest way. It was just right by a bus stop. She's like, you know what, I'm done, like, we gotta break up. I didn't want to. Well, at first she said we need to take a break, and I kept telling her constantly, I was like, yo, break means break up. And she kept saying no, and I'm like, no, it means break up. You know it means break up. I don't know why you don't think of whatever. But it took me a year and a half, almost 2 years to get over this girl. It literally took me that long. But the weird thing about all this is because that breakup, I had all of 2014 going into 2015 to think about everything about my life and reflect on it. Which was great because I ended up going back home to Cali, and I needed that. I went back to Cali in summer. I saw my best friend. Shout out to Maria. And I ended up getting my life together. I ended up doing this internship program that led me to get some, not my job now, but like another job that led to another job. I got my life together. So not only it may have been a bad breakup for me because I was hurting the rest of the year going. I didn't get over it until like almost the end of 2015. From 2014 to 2015, I wasn't talking to no girls. I was just talking to my best friend. I didn't want to talk to any girls. Like, I'm still to this day, I'm afraid to open up to girls because I'm afraid that not only are they probably gonna cheat on me, but they're gonna dump me like that. Like, thankfully, she dumped me and didn't cheat on me because before her, I got cheated on by so many different girls. So, thankfully, I got my life together. That was the point. But, yeah, guys. So, this was episode number 2 of Storytime. And, I'll see you guys later.